Inventor. It also happens to belong to a man by the name of Hoyt Axton. And before we look at any other of Axton's work here in Gremlin.
With a combination of top hit songs like Heartbreak Hotel and Joy to the World and several movie appearances, Hoyt Axton became one of America's most recognized figure before vanishing from the spotlight. What happened to the folk singer legend? Stay tuned to find out. What happened to Hoyt Axton?
My career, per se. Because what I didn't want to be tied to mother's coattails, you know.
Hoyt Axton was an American singer and songwriter, guitarist, and actor. He became prominent in the early 1960s, establishing himself on the West Coast as a folk singer with an earthy style and powerful voice. Among his best-known songs are Joy to the World, The Pusher, No No Song, Greenback Dollar, Della and the Dealer, and Never Been to Spain. Axton's songs often had a wry sense of humor, and some referred openly to substance. The No No Song, a 1975 hit for Ringo Starr, did both. Axton made albums for Capitol, A&M, and MCA in the 70s before starting his own label, Jeremiah, named after the bullfrog, and Joy to the World. He had moved toward country rock, and his songs were heard on country radio stations. Bony Fingers, a duet with Linda Ronstadt, was a country hit in 1974. Hoyt Axton produced the album Tales from the Ozone for Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen in 1975. And had his biggest country hit in 1979 with Della and the Dealer. While Mr. Axton continued to tour and record, performing up to 300 shows a year, he also had a side career as an actor, playing portly good old boys on television and in movies. Axton was also a prolific character actor with many film and television roles to his credit, often playing a father figure in a number of films including The Black Stallion in 1979, Heart Like a Wheel in 1983, and Gremlins in 1984. He also appeared on the series Bonanza in the 1960s, and he had roles in films including E.T. and We're No Angels. After playing a sheriff in the movie Disorganized Crime in 1988, he moved to Montana, where it was filmed. Like most artists and musicians, Axton struggled with substance addiction, and several of his songs, including The Pusher and Snowblind Friend, partly reflect his experiences with substance use. Axton's life, which was marked by a significant personal struggle, including substance abuse, played a role in his physical and mental decline. He was a proponent of medical marijuana use, which led to him and his wife Deborah Hawkins being arrested in February 1997 at their Montana home for possession of a huge amount of marijuana. Deborah, who married Hoyt Axton in 1990, said she rationed marijuana to Axton after he quit smoking tobacco on his doctor's orders. She pleaded to Judge Jeffrey Langton, who presided over the court case, that she was only looking out for the health of her dear husband, as she pleaded guilty to possessing dangerous substances and paraphernalia. Judge Jeffrey Langton wasn't impressed and gave her a 1-year deferred sentence and fined her $1,000. Axton also faced identical charges. The couple's defense attorney, Milt Datsopoulos, said Hawkins observed that the Axtons only had marijuana in their possession because it relieved some of Axton's pain, anxiety, and stress, who months before suffered from a stroke. Following his recovery, a doctor had warned him against his use of tobacco and told Axton that he risked a second stroke if he continued to use tobacco. This, according to Datsopoulos, led to the possession of marijuana found at the couple's house. Axton's relationship with alcohol and substance use began early in his career. He was known to indulge in heavy drinking and smoking, habits that were common among musicians of his era, but that also had severe consequences for his health. Over the years, Axton's substance use became more problematic. He often spoke about his struggles with addiction, and his excessive drinking, coupled with his use of substance, took a toll on his body and mind. By the 1980s, Axton's physical health began to deteriorate. His weight fluctuated dramatically, and he battled both depression and a growing sense of dissatisfaction with his career. His substance abuse continued to escalate, and while he made attempts to quit, he wasn't successful for long and always fell back to his habits. Axton was unable to break free from his addictions, which became a chronic part of his lifestyle and severely affected his music career, and most importantly, his health. In 1996, Axton suffered a debilitating stroke, a turning point in his life. The stroke left him with significant health complications and further diminished his already fragile physical condition. While there is no definitive evidence directly linking his stroke to his substance abuse, the prolonged strain of alcohol and substance use on his body likely contributed to his stroke's severity and his overall health decline. With medical evidence of stroke being more common among individuals with a history of long-term substance use, particularly when alcohol or tobacco is heavily involved, as these substances increase the risk of high blood pressure, clotting, and heart disease. Following the stroke, Axton's health continued to worsen. He never fully recovered from his stroke, and he used a wheelchair for the remainder of his life. Sadly, he continued to experience complications. Axton suffered a massive heart attack 2 weeks before his death and was struck by another while undergoing surgery in Missoula, said Jan Woods, a longtime friend in Nashville. On October 26, 1999, Hoyt Axton passed away at the age of 61. His death was officially attributed to heart failure, but the toll of his substance abuse was certainly a contributing factor to the heart issues that led to his demise. Axton, who was born in Oklahoma, upon his death, was moved to Montana's Bitterroot Valley. He is survived by his wife, Deborah, and 5 children. Axton was previously married to Donna Bambi Roberts for 10 years between 1980 and 1990, Catherine Roberts for 7 years between 1966 and 1973, and Mary Sanino for 5 years between 1960 and 1965. Hoyt Axton's life serves as a tragic example of how substance use and addiction can profoundly impact one's health, ultimately leading to a premature death. Despite his significant artistic legacy, Axton's struggles with addiction remain a somber reminder of the dangers of substance use. During his lifetime, Axton wrote 220 published songs, many of them anthems of American pop culture. The astounding rise of Hoyt Axton. Songwriter, singer, and actor Hoyt Wayne Axton was born March 25, 1938 in Duncan, Oklahoma, the eldest son of John and May Boren Axton. Whenever one talks about Hoyt, inevitably his mother, May Boren Axton, comes into the picture. May was his spokesperson, manager, and publicist. And though Axton is no doubt a talented songwriter, natural entertainer, and distinctive vocalist, there's little doubt that without his mother's guidance and persuasive attitude, his career would not have been as long-lasting as it was. What's more is that Axton's mom, May, is best known for co-writing Elvis Presley's first hit, Heartbreak Hotel. In the early 1950s, May Boren Axton, a schoolteacher, began to write songs for pleasure. The whole Axton family was musically inclined. Axton was a cousin of musician Arlo Guthrie. He was also the first cousin of David Boren, who served as governor of Oklahoma and 3 terms in the United States Senate, and was also president of the University of Oklahoma. When the family got together and made songs, some of these songs were later recorded by major country artists like Hank Snow and Farron Young, but it was Heartbreak Hotel, the first million-selling record by Elvis Presley, that really set the seal on May's talents as a writer. Born in the backwoods of Comanche, Oklahoma, Axton spent his youthful days moving around the country, growing up in Florida, Texas, California, and Michigan. When his football coach and father moved the family to Jacksonville, Florida, Axton became an all-state football player and learned classical piano and played the guitar while in high school, which was where he had his first introduction to songwriting. With his working knowledge of 6 chords, Axton plucked out such timely favorites as Your Cheatin' Heart and Goodnight Irene. Country music played an important role in the early life of Hoyt Axton. Axton graduated from Robert E. Lee High School in 1956 and left town after a hardware store was destroyed by fire on graduation night following a misguided prank. He then attended Oklahoma State University, but left early to join the United States Navy along with his Uncle Sam. Axton held the rank of Petty Officer Second Class and served on 2 ships, the USS Princeton and the USS Ranger. Once he got away from the clutches of the Navy, he moved out to the West Coast and lived a very full life. He hung around bars and women, picking with the likes of Sonny Terry, Josh White, Lonnie Johnson, and Jim Roger McGuinn, who was later to become a member of the Byrds. For many years, he was part of a Los Angeles scene that included many late nights drinking at a bar just outside the performance room at the Troubadour Cafe. He was beginning to get heavily into songwriting, mainly working within a blues and folk idiom. Success didn't, however, come quickly or easily, but Axton was ready and determined to pursue a musical career. In 1961, he began writing folk music and often performing. He signed with VJ Records and recorded several albums, including a fine tribute to the legendary blues singer Bessie Smith. Axton started his climb from obscurity by writing Greenback Dollar, a major success for the Kingston Trio in 1962. Songwriting was always Axton's forte. His writing instincts, which were family-bred, led to his over 1,000 compositions. Axton released numerous albums throughout the 1960s and 1970s. His song The Pusher was recorded in 1968 for the debut album by Steppenwolf, the 1970s heavy metal group which recorded several of Axton's songs. In 1971, the group recorded another of Axton's anti-substance songs, Snowblind Friend. As the 60s ended, he opened shows for Three Dog Night, and the band recorded Joy to the World, which had been written for a children's television special but never used. It became a #1 hit and sold 1 million copies in 1971. Three Dog Night also recorded Never Been to Spain, which reached #5 on the charts in 1972. In the mid-70s, he produced studio covers of his own music for John Davidson and also produced Tales from the Ozone, a 1975 album by Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. He also released many minor hits of his own, such as Bony Fingers, When the Morning Comes, and his 1979 hit, Della and the Dealer. His vocal style featured his distinctive bass baritone, which later deepened to near bass and use of characterization.
Long red underwear and work boots and work jeans.
So it's a serious move.
Harley Davidson vest.
Axton's career wasn't just limited to music and songwriting. He made several film appearances which exhibited his talent and versatility. Axton first appeared on television in a David L. Wolper ABC production of The Story of a Folk Singer in 1963. He then appeared on Hootenanny, hosted by Jack Linkletter during this period. 2 years later, in 1965, he appeared in an episode of Bonanza, in which he sang duets with Pernell Roberts. In 1966, he made his film debut in Smokey, playing the role of Fred Denton, the evil brother of the character played by Fess Parker. He gained fame in the 1970s and 80s through his film roles, including those in The Black Stallion in 1979, Liar's Moon in 1982, Heart Like a Wheel and Gremlins in 1983 and 4 respectively. His television appearances included McCloud in 1974, The Bionic Woman in 1976, WKRP in Cincinnati 3 years later, and Different Strokes in 1984 and 5. In 1980, he sang the theme song to the short-lived series Flow and guest starred as himself in the episode titled You Gotta Have Hoyt. Axton sang the jingle, The Ballad of Big Mac, for a 1969 McDonald's Big Mac television commercial, as well as Head for the Mountains in voiceovers for Busch Beer in the 1980s. He appeared in a Pizza Hut commercial in 1985 and in a TV spot for FTD with Merlin Olsen in 1989. By 1991, Axton was well known for his acting skills and was awarded an induction to the Walk of Western Stars in Newhall, California. In 1992, Hoyt Axton narrated The Alaska Highway, a documentary about the history of the Alaska Highway that was produced by public television station KAKM of Anchorage and shown nationally on PBS. In the mid-1990s, Axton was chosen to host and narrate the profile series Life and Times on the Nashville Network, in which a different country music figure was spotlighted each hour. His voice was heard throughout, and he was seen on camera doing the introduction and closing of each show in which he participated. Axton also served as the narrator for 2 documentaries about the Western States endurance race in 1982 and 1983 titled Desperate Dreams. Despite his movie success and numerous television appearances, Axton's most lasting contributions, however, were songs made famous by others. Joy to the World and Never Been to Spain, both by Three Dog Night and Elvis Presley, Greenback Dollar for the Kingston Trio, The Pusher and Snowblind Friend for Steppenwolf, No No Song for Ringo Starr, and songs covered by singers such as Joan Baez, Arlo Guthrie, John Denver, Nina Simone, Waylon Jennings, Martha Reeves, Jonathan Edwards, Glenn Campbell, Anne Murray, David Clayton Thomas, and Colter Wall. Axton also sang duets with Linda Ronstadt on the songs Lion in the Winter and When the Morning Comes, and with Renee Armand on Bony Fingers, and with Tanya Tucker on You Taught Me How to Cry. His composition Joy to the World, performed by Three Dog Night, reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for 6 straight weeks in 1971, making it the top hit of the year. He named his record label Jeremiah after the bullfrog mentioned in the song. Axton was married 4 times, with his first 3 marriages ending in a divorce. He had 5 children, one of which, Matt Axton, is a musician. Hoyt Axton's son, Matt Axton.
Yeah, drop some legacy bombs. It was funny because Greg didn't know. I thought Greg knew all that stuff.
Matt Axton, son of legendary singer and songwriter and actor Hoyt Axton, a man known for his contributions to folk, country, and rock music, as well as for his acting career. While Hoyt Axton gained fame for his distinctive voice, his work with artists like Three Dog Night, and his own hit songs such as Joy to the World, his son Matt has had a somewhat quieter but still interesting life and career in the shadow of his famous father. While Axton's life and legacy are often documented in music history, Matt Axton remains a more enigmatic figure, someone whose personal and professional trajectory provides a fascinating look at the challenges and rewards of growing up as the child of a celebrity. Matt Axton was born on February 24, 1961 in the United States to Hoyt Axton and his wife Donna Roberts. Donna is a lifelong educator in many fields including music, math, and psychology. She met Hoyt Axton in Lake Tahoe, California, and joined his band as the pianist. She toured for many years with Hoyt. Now she works as head of the music department at Sierra Nevada College. Hoyt Axton was a well-established name in the music industry by the time Matt was born. Growing up with a father whose career was full of public acclaim, Matt Axton's early years were inevitably intertwined with the world of show business. Matt's mother, Donna, was also involved in the entertainment industry, which meant that he had access to a creative and artistic environment from a young age. While his parents divorced when Matt was young, both remained influential figures in his life. Although Matt was exposed to the world of music and film, his relationship with his father, while undoubtedly impactful, was also complicated by the pressures of being the child of such a prominent figure. Despite growing up in an environment filled with music, Matt Axton did not immediately follow the same direct path that his father did. It was until an injury confined him in bed when in high school did he find his own voice and a guitar became his best friend. However, instead of stepping into the limelight as a songwriter or performer, Matt initially pursued a more private life away from the full glare of public attention. Nonetheless, it would not be long before he began to tap into the creative talent that ran through his family's veins. Matt's career in music, while never reaching the heights that his father's did, has been notable for its authenticity and the unique perspective he brings to his work. He started his career by performing locally, often collaborating with other musicians and playing in smaller, more intimate settings. Unlike his father, who was more of a mainstream figure, Matt's approach to music has always been more introspective and grounded in personal experiences. His sound draws from folk, country, and Americana, echoing the genres his father was famous for, but Matt's music often delves into themes of personal struggle, introspection, and a deep connection with the natural world. Matt Axton has occasionally performed under his own name, though he has also worked behind the scenes, contributing his skills to various projects and occasionally taking part in collaborations. He has also performed alongside his father's legacy, making guest appearances at some of Hoyt's concerts and events, further solidifying the connection between their musical worlds. However, his focus was always on carving out his own identity as an artist rather than simply following in the footsteps of his father. Being the child of a well-known public figure can come with both advantages and drawbacks, and Matt Axton's life has not been without its struggles. With a certain level of expectation that comes with having a famous parent, and a pressure that can be difficult to navigate, it is often challenging for children of famous musicians to step out of their parents' shadow and create their own space within the industry. And Matt has acknowledged the difficulties of living up to the expectations placed on him due to his father's fame. Matt Axton's personal life has also included some hardship. His father, Hoyt Axton, passed away in 1999, left a significant emotional void. The loss of his father, combined with the challenges of maintaining a career in the ever-competitive music industry, can be overwhelming. Despite these challenges, Matt Axton has largely maintained a low-key existence, preferring a lifestyle that is less about fame and more about the work itself. While not much is publicly known about his personal relationships or day-to-day life, it is clear that he values his privacy, much more than the high-profile life his father led. This self-imposed distance from the public spotlight has likely been a way for Matt to develop a deeper understanding of who he is as an artist and individual, unencumbered by the demands of celebrity. In many ways, Matt Axton's career reflects a more contemporary and personal approach to fame and artistry. His ability to navigate a life that balances both the inheritance of his father's musical legacy and the desire to build something uniquely his own is one of the defining characteristics of his life. Unlike other children of famous musicians who might work relentlessly to mirror their parents' success, Matt's path has been one of quiet reflection and creative independence. Hoyt Axton's legacy, with its broad, multifaceted reach, certainly casts a long shadow, and while Matt may never have reached the commercial success of his father, there is an undeniable depth to his work. His ability to remain true to his personal expression and his resistance to chasing fleeting fame are marks of a thoughtful and self-aware artist. Matt's music, while not yet widely known in mainstream circles, has found a place among those who appreciate the more subtle, quieter aspects of American folk and rock music. Hoyt Axton music was, in many ways, a representative figure of the 60s and 70s folk movement. Matt, while undoubtedly influenced by his father, represents a more introspective voice. His music is often concerned with individual struggles, finding solace in the small moments of life, and creating a kind of art that can resonate without needing to be a commercial success. He represents the evolution of the American singer and songwriter into someone who values authenticity over fame. Hoyt Axton's name will forever be associated with songs that shaped the American musical landscape, but Matt Axton's contribution to the arts is no less significant, even if it has flown under the radar for most. Through his music and his story, Matt Axton has shown that the true value of artistry lies not in fame, but in the ability to express one's truest self, and in this, he has undoubtedly succeeded. The influence and legacy of Hoyt Axton. Hoyt Axton's career spanned several decades and genres, leaving a lasting imprint on the American music scene. Axton's work as a songwriter and performer helped shape the sound of country, folk, and rock music during the 60s and 70s, and his influence continues to reverberate in contemporary music. Axton's legacy is multifaceted, encompassing his role as a prolific songwriter for other artists, his own contributions to country and folk music, and his unique blend of storytelling, social commentary, and musical versatility. Hoyt Axton's most enduring legacy is arguably his songwriting. Axton penned songs that transcended the boundaries of genre, resonating with artists across rock, country, and pop music. Throughout his career, Axton has never really been tied down by musical straitjackets. He maintained that good music is really a combination of sounds, and cites both Bach and the Beatles as examples. One of his most famous compositions, Joy to the World, which became a massive hit, topping the charts for 6 weeks, and its infectious chorus, Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog, remains a cultural touchstone. The song's commercial success opened doors for Axton as a songwriter, but it also underscored his unique ability to create songs with mass appeal while retaining a sense of individuality. While Joy to the World is perhaps Axton's most commercially successful song, his songwriting career was filled with many other notable contributions. His track The Pusher, which he wrote in 1968, became a powerful anthem for the counterculture movement. Covered by Steppenwolf on their 1968 album, the song's blunt commentary on the dangers of substance abuse resonated with audiences and captured the spirit of the times. The track's raw, unapologetic lyrics and its reflection of social issues would inspire many musicians in the years to come, from the rebellious rock acts of the late 60s to the socially conscious singer and songwriters of the 70s and beyond. Axton's songwriting also extended to country music, where his style was influential among emerging artists in the genre. His song Bony Fingers, recorded by Axton in 1974, became a popular anthem in the country circuit and is considered a classic of the genre. The song's humor, self-deprecation, and commentary on the life of a working musician resonated with many who appreciated Axton's honest portrayal of life on the road and the challenges of a career in music. The track's blend of folk, country, and rock styles would influence a wide range of musicians, from Willie Nelson to contemporary Americana artists like Jason Isbell and Sturgill Simpson. Axton's influence on modern country and folk music is undeniable. His approach to songwriting was a combination of folk's storytelling traditions and the broad-mindedness of country and rock. Axton wasn't afraid to explore social issues or delve into deeply personal themes, both of which set him apart from other songwriters of his time. His ability to craft songs with both emotional depth and accessibility made him a respected figure among musicians and fans alike. Axton's own musical catalog reflects his versatility. His 1975 album, My Griffin Is Gone, is a standout example of his skill as a storyteller. The album blends folk, country, and a bit of rock and roll, featuring tracks like When the Morning Comes and Evangelina, both of which capture his characteristic knack for rich, evocative lyrics. These songs are timeless in their exploration of universal themes such as love, loss, and redemption. Axton's influence can also be felt in the works of contemporary artists who follow in his tradition of blending personal introspection with broader social commentary. Artists like John Prine, Chris Christopherson, and Townes Van Zandt owe much of their style to Axton's ability to craft songs that felt both deeply personal and universally relatable. His presence in country music is particularly significant, as he bridged the gap between the folk movement of the 60s and the mainstream country music of the 70s. Axton's music found a home among the outlaw country movement, particularly due to his willingness to write about the gritty, real-life subjects and situations. The outlaw country movement, led by artists like Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, found resonance in Axton's raw and authentic voice. His ability to write about the American experience, both the highs and lows, laid the groundwork for the genre's evolution into a more expressive and nuanced form. Hoyt Axton's influence on modern musicians can be traced through both his direct and indirect impact. Directly, many artists have cited Axton as an inspiration or have covered his songs, while others continue to emulate his distinctive style of songwriting. Additionally, Axton's songs like Never Been to Spain have been covered by a variety of musicians, from country stars to rock bands. These songs exemplify Axton's storytelling prowess and his ability to blend relatable themes with catchy melodies. His influence is particularly felt in modern Americana, folk rock, and country music. Artists such as Jason Isbell, Chris Stapleton, and Tyler Childers, who combine strong lyrical narratives with a variety of musical influences, owe a significant debt to Axton's trailblazing style. Hoyt Axton's influence on modern musicians is undeniable. As a songwriter, his ability to craft compelling narratives, tackle social issues, and blend various genres helped define an era of American music that continues to shape contemporary artists. His enduring legacy lives on not just in the songs he wrote, but in the countless musicians who have drawn inspiration from his work, whether consciously or unconsciously. In a world where storytelling through song is still an essential component of music, particularly Axton's approach to lyricism, authenticity, and creative risk-taking remains a guiding light for many artists across genres. On the 1st of November, 2007, Axton and his mother, Mae Boren Axton, were inducted posthumously into the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame in Muskogee, Oklahoma. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.